ITV News Central, good evening. The family of a Birmingham man who died after being restrained by doormen outside a bar 4 years ago has won the right to a judicial review. Ever since their son's death, Julian Webster's parents have campaigned for answers, and now a High Court judge has allowed them to challenge the decision not to prosecute anyone. Sally Lockwood reports.
This is Julian Webster's family campaigning for justice at the spot where he died 12 months after his death. Now, more than 4 years on, they're still fighting for it and say the family can't move on.
It's just not the same anymore. It's just not the same. Christmas doesn't happen for us. Easter doesn't happen anymore for us. There's been no Christmas decoration up in the house since Julian died. We're broken. The family's literally broken.
Julian died while being restrained by doormen at this bar in Manchester in 2009. An inquest jury ruled that the actions of the doorman were a significant factor in his death, but the Crime Prosecution Service found insufficient evidence to charge them. The inquest also revealed Julian's death was caused by an undiagnosed heart condition.
Is there any part of you that feels that it was just a tragic accident?
They mention heart problem or whatever. He's never had an episode, and they knew from the medical report and the autopsy that there was never any episode. He wasn't born with it, so had this hadn't happened on the night, he wouldn't have had a heart attack.
The Crime Prosecution Service has confirmed the family's now been granted a judicial review over their decision not to prosecute anyone in relation to their son's death.
Someone out there is responsible. It's just too convenient for CPS to say there's insufficient evidence. Evidence produced over 10 days of the inquest and subsequently has shown that there was more than sufficient evidence to prosecute someone.
The family say they've been destroyed by Julian's death.
Only thing can give me a bit of comfort is justice. It's not going to bring him back, but at least we know we got justice for him, and the family can move on with our lives, and Julian can rest in peace.
Now this new bid for justice is their latest hope for some sense of closure. Sally Lockwood, ITV News, Birmingham.
The police officer at the centre of the Plebgate affair is to sue the Sutton Coldfield MP Andrew Mitchell for libel. PC Toby Rowland was the officer on the Downing Street gate involved in an incident last year with Mr Mitchell, who admits swearing but denied using the word pleb. The officer stands by his account of the incident. The Crown Prosecution Service has said there's insufficient evidence to show which of the two was correct. A man's died following a collision in Coventry. It happened at 8:30 this evening on Brownshill Green Road. 2 other men have been taken to hospital with critical injuries. Police are appealing for witnesses. Leicestershire racing circuit Mallory Park has been saved after new operators came in to run the track. Racing stopped at the track in September after the previous operating company went into administration shortly after stricter noise regulations were enforced by the council. Superbike's team owner, Stuart Hicken, and his partner Eddie Roberts will run the track under the name Real Motorsport Limited. A family say they're upset after thieves stole Christmas lights from outside their home in Leicester. They'd put up lights and decorations worth more than £150 for their daughter and her friends who were excited about Christmas. Stacey Foster reports.
They were the first lights up and the very first to come down. Gone. Just days after this family had decorated their home for Christmas, thieves struck early one morning. In place of the lantern, reindeer and ho-ho-ho display for the children on this quiet cul-de-sac in Beaumont Leys, now is a message to those responsible for ruining Christmas.
I started crying because all my stuff had gone missing off the front, and then I noticed the wire had been cut from the front door because that's where the leads were leading out from, and the bolts off the wall had gone as well, where the chains had been on too, so they ripped the chains out of the wall with the bolts.
Kaylee Driver and her partner decided to spend extra extra on lights this Christmas for their 2-year-old daughter, Maisie. Maisie knows the fate of the lights, but while she's happy playing with the empty boxes, the thefts upset many others in the streets.
My next door neighbour's got a little boy Maisie's age as well, and he used to like looking out the window, and he came home from school and he realised it had gone that night, and he said to his mum, "Where's Santa's doggy gone?" I spent £57 on these lights just this year, because these were my brand new lights for the house this year, and then the rest of the lights on the house came all together at about 150 quid on the lights for the house.
The family say they'd like to replace the lights, but are worried about them being stolen again. And as investigations continue, they just hope those responsible don't get a visit from Santa Claus this Christmas, but from the police instead. Stacey Foster, ITV News, Leicester.
Some football news, and all our Premier League sides have been in action tonight. Aston Villa sealed a victory away at Southampton thanks to a goal 10 minutes from time from Fabian Delph. It was a goalless draw for Stoke as they hosted Cardiff, and West Brom suffered a 3-2 defeat at the Hawthorns to Manchester City, despite coming back in the last stages of the game. And in the Championship, a late goal in the 90th minute from Connor Salmon earned Derby 3 points at home to Middlesbrough. Right, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours with Lucy Verasamy.
It could be cool in Birmingham, but somewhere in the world, the sun is shining. ITV Central Weather, sponsored by Turkish Airlines.
Hello again, a very good evening to you. Well, temperatures close to freezing this coming night, very windy for all of us tomorrow, and as temperatures drop to near freezing point over the next few hours, a patchy frost come dawn. Not only chilly but increasingly blustery out there tomorrow morning, the strongest winds across higher routes. Fine and dry initially, some patches of blue sky before things go downhill through the afternoon. Increasingly cloudy and wet, and to accompany these conditions it stays very windy. Temperatures doing a little better than recent days, but I don't think we'll notice them with the really quite miserable conditions. I'll see you again soon.
ITV Central Weather, sponsored by Turkish Airlines.
And that's it from the Central Newsroom for this Wednesday. Have a peaceful night. Good night.